If you're invited to an iftar party, 99.99% of the time there will be Shahi Tukra on the menu. So to teach me how to make Shahi Tukra, I have my friend Insia joining me in the kitchen today. Insia is the funnest kid in town. She knows the best places to eat and makes the meanest of food.
1 second, before you say anything about my food, let me cook something for you and then we can talk about it.
Okay, so what are you teaching me to make today?
So today we're going to make a Pauno Halvo, which is very close to the Shahi Tukra that you spoke about earlier.
Okay.
And it's the Daudi Bora version of the bread butter pudding or...
And there's
the
also a
Shahi Tukra.
Hyderabadi version of it
The
called double ka meetha.
Correct. So it's very similar to all of this. So you want to start?
Yeah, please.
So to start, we're going to take a pan and we're
Okay.
going to heat some oil and fry the pav, which is our
Okay.
ladi pav that you eat with your vada pav and your misal pav and that pav.
Seriously, so there's no like toast or like nothing,
None
not the
of that.
regular bread.
Just pav, because that little crustiness of this pav lends a really nice flavor to the...
Okay, I'm excited. Come
Okay.
on, let's start.
All right. Okay, so you want to start with breaking the pav into 4 pieces.
Okay. And see, I'm breaking bread with you, like literally.
This is going to be a memorable meal in your life.
it will.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
You know, I'm just thinking while making this, I feel like the pav is good, pav is amazing, but like, what about that Japanese milk bread?
Hokkaido.
Yeah, imagine putting Hokkaido in like to make this because it's a milk pudding.
Yeah.
With
we should
milk
try
bread.
this variation. I think
It'll
we should have
be-
thought of it before we
it'll
started
be
making this,
epic.
but we should certainly
Too
try it.
late.
Yeah. But I love the fact that we use this pav instead of that sliced bread, you know. That's what I really like in this dish.
Vocal for local. Hashtag vocal for local.
So it has like that sourdoughiness in the pav,
To it,
right?
yeah.
So it tastes really nice with the blend of the milk and the mawa and the kesar and all of it.
Fab. I'm just saying Japanese bread is cool too. That's all I'm saying.
Please, I love everything Indian. Hashtag Bombay. I think this is done. It's become really nice and crisp and golden orange, and I think you can take it out.
Yeah, it's like basically like fried croutons.
Yeah, it's like croutons, really large ones. You're making me very hungry. I don't think I can wait till this is over now.
So I have like a question for you.
Yeah.
I feel like there are so many versions of this bread pudding. There is the double ka meetha, and then there is this, there is Shahi Tukra. Where do you
Yeah.
think it originated? Do you think it's English? Do you think it's from Central Asia? Where do you think the whole concept of a bread pudding is from?
I feel like India has been through such a large culinary invasion, right, over the past like few hundred years, and it's really hard to pinpoint where certain things have originated. But I feel like what we've done is, like, say for example, somebody made a Shahi Tukra, and somebody who had invaded India tried it, the British basically, and then decided that they wanted their own version of it and made the bread butter pudding. So I
Right.
feel like in India, that's the beauty. You have a dish, and as you travel to different parts of the country, the same dish becomes different in a way.
It's like the gugra or the karanji.
Absolutely.
It's just the same shape, but it has different stuffings in different parts of the country.
Yeah, like, you know, you make a dal dhokli and we make a chikoli, and it's more or less the same thing. But it's just how we've taken ingredients that grow in our own regions and, you know, use that to cook that same
Basically,
dish.
weaved in your cultural interpretation of that ingredient.
Absolutely.
And
made
made
our
it
own.
yours.
Yeah, made it
Okay.
yours. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm done frying all this bread. What's next?
Okay, so we're going to take this pan and we're going to boil some milk in it.
Okay.
We're going to take a liter of cow's milk.
Okay.
So I'm going to give that to you. And let's boil it till it reduces a little bit. So we'll give it a couple of boils, and then we'll start with, so we'll add sugar to the milk first and then step by step add the other ingredients.
Will this take like a lot of time to settle down because it's like a large quantity of milk?
Yeah, so this 1 liter should become about 600, 700 ml after it reduces.
But won't the mawa help thicken
The
it?
mawa will help thicken it. So what we'll do is first we'll dissolve the sugar.
Okay.
So once the sugar dissolves, then we can add the mawa. So please go for it. This is about 5 tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
And you can like adjust this depending on how sweet you like it. Another this is that if you are of refined sugar, then you can
Add jaggery or like palm sugar.
Correct. You can use any of this, but it'll change the color of dessert drastically.
But like if you add palm sugar, it's brown and then
It makes a big difference to the color
okay.
because everything
Okay.
else is literally white, so then
Okay.
it makes a big
Okay, fair
difference to the
enough.
color. So now that you've put the milk to boil,
Yeah.
okay, and we've added the sugar, just give it a nice stir so that the sugar's fully melted. So you'll see, like you'll feel it with your spatula if the sugar's fully
Melted or not, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Still there.
Getting there, yeah. So Insia, I wanted to know what was Ramzan like while growing up for you?
So it was really interesting. As kids, we were very religious because my parents are very religious, and every year during Ramzan for 30 days we would fast and go to the mosque. And my mum used to make sure that my sister was on one side and I was on the other side, because otherwise we used to create like a ruckus, and we've been thrown out of the mosque a couple of times. Okay, so because imagine you're two hungry kids.
I won't throw you out of the kitchen no matter what you do, Insia. You're free to do whatever you want.
This is on camera, and I'm going to use this against you at one point. But
Tell me, what was iftar food like?
So, you know, we used to go to the mosque, and at that point, the mosque provides iftar. So it really starts with, like, they send you chai and biscuits and stuff like that, and then everybody goes to the Jamaat downstairs to eat. For us, it was very exciting, yeah, because every time it was like going to a restaurant every night, right? So it's like a party. And my sister used to always do our top 5 favorites this year and stuff like that.
And
So
what were these dishes like?
Keema samosa, always. Shami kebabs. Pav no halwa is something that my sister and I both love a lot. So this always made it to the top 3. And then there is something called kari chawal. There is mutton curry.
Kari chawal is basically kari chawal.
Kari chawal is actually more like a coconut curry based mutton curry.
Okay.
So that then there's dal chawal palidu, which is like a really like intense cooking meal. I'm so happy you didn't make me cook that because we would have finished up like some 8 episodes.
You picked the easiest of dishes. You fry bread and then just make custard,
bread,
top it all up.
milk, sugar,
Easy peasy.
a little bit of saffron.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mawa.
Mawa.
Okay.
So yeah. So I think we had a great time feasting every night, and my mom has this habit of packing iftar, even though the mosque provides it. My mom has a habit of making something every day. Now imagine, yeah, you're fasting all day and you've not eaten anything and you're cooking all this delicious food. So you have to be very, very brave to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So mom used to make different things, and yeah, I mean for us it's the kebabs and all of that that, you know, really was something that we look forward to. And my sister and I would just try to sleep most of the day. My mouth is watering so much
Guys,
right now.
this is a great
I
promo
cannot,
for my
sorry.
whole show, because she said all the dishes that we have, all the links you'll find in the bio below, all of it. So please share and subscribe to everything, including this one.
This is not rigged. I had no idea what she'd shot before. So, well, great minds think alike.
That's true, and fools seldom differ. You know
Oh,
that,
I
right?
didn't know that. That's a good add-on. Okay, amazing. Okay, so now this milk has come to a boil. We're gonna add some mawa to this. You can just crumble it and put it in so that it, you know, very quickly dissolves. So you keep stirring it, otherwise the mawa will stick to the pan. Yeah, that's about it, I think.
So, you know, I was telling my audience that you know all the best places to eat in the country. I'm going to start off with one question. Where do
Yeah.
you get the best firni in the country? Which part of India do you get the best firni?
I feel like it's kind of wrong to say which part is like the best firni, especially because I don't like firni. But but
How can anybody not like firni?
I don't know. I feel like it's the texture, that graininess that doesn't go down. But honestly, I've had an excellent firni in Amritsar.
Wow.
You know, surprisingly. Yeah, through those like zillion kulchas, I found a firni. And I think just like because I just was done eating chole, that I was like, I want to eat something different. And somebody just gave me a firni. Like the restaurant guy just gave me a firni. And I was like, okay. And I tried it. And honestly, it was excellent. I think that firni has kind of now changed my mind about firni, and I can become a firni eater all over again.
Nice.
So I recommend it in Amritsar. So what's your favorite firni?
So like a proper Gujju auntie, everything I eat out, I'll be like, ये तो मैं घर पे भी बना सकती हूँ. So for me, it is the firni that I make at home.
Yeah.
That's the kind of firni I like. And the best part about eating a firni, my favorite part about eating a firni, is scraping that matti ka kullad.
Yeah,
It's like
the
your-
taste.
It's the adult version of eating makka as a child, basically.
Yeah. Okay, so this milk has fully reduced.
Okay.
You know, it's become nice and thick and creamy.
I know, Insia, I've been stirring it for like 1,000 minutes now.
This is your arm workout for the food that you're going to eat. So it's like a well-balanced, you know, thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to add some charoli to this. Now, charoli is chironji otherwise, and it is from the northwestern part of India. And they say that the Mughals brought it to India. It is an important part of their cuisine. You'll see it in a lot of Persian cuisine as well. And Yeah, I'm gonna add a few extra because I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I love charoli.
Yeah, I like that nuttiness to balance the sweetness. So
And it's a very different bite, like instead of
Yeah.
a walnut or like a
yeah,
pistachio.
It's very similar to almond, but it has a little bit of a spice to it.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to take 2-3 strands of saffron
Okay.
and just add that for some like.
So I'm guessing you're not diluting it anyway because you're anyway putting it in hot milk.
Yeah.
So, I've heard of all these iftar parties, but tell me this huge trend of sehri parties.
So sehri parties has become basically like your morning rave, right? Like you know how earlier everybody used to party at night, and now suddenly people are going to parties in the morning. Just a get together where everybody comes and eats a lot of food. It's like eating before sunrise. So
I'll make this for that, but instead of like bread, I'll deep fry like croissants and I'd layer it with like Nutella.
and put some strawberries on top.
Yeah.
And then don't fast for the rest of the day because it's
No, but then you
impossible
can.
to-
But then you can fast, right? Because you've eaten so much, you will
So
want
you
to
know,
fast.
actually, it doesn't really work like that. You know that because you've eaten that one big meal, then for like till sunset, you're not going to feel hungry.
But you're doing that anyway.
That's quite true. You'd rather do it with some croissants and
Nutella and strawberries.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you adding now, Insia?
So this is done. Just the final element is the ghee. So we're
Like
gonna take a
this ghee
spoon.
that goes on top of this.
I mean, tell me what Indian dish really works without ghee. So we're
Go
just gonna
for
do 1 spoon of ghee and just watch it melt. So I think this is ready. It's become, you can see, like nice and thick, and the bread has really soaked the rabdi, as you like to call it.
Thanks.
You can plate this, and then we'll garnish it with some more charoli. I think with the quantities we've used, you can easily do like 3 to 4 bowls with it. Like human-sized small.
We're gonna plate
bowls.
it all up in this.
Yeah. This is basically our sharing bowl because of the mehnat that you've done in making this.
So finally, there's one dish on the whole show that I'm legit gonna be able to eat.
No, that's not true actually because you don't eat dairy.
Shut up.
So you can't.
Shut up,
So you can't eat
Insia.
it, and this is for me and everybody
Insia,
else
you're
is
gonna
working
get
on this.
thrown out of my kitchen too, huh? Now.
I'm just gonna garnish this with a little more of this charoli,
Okay.
and we can do a small teaspoon of
More ghee.
ghee on top. I think. What do you think?
It's like a chili oil drizzle on a pizza.
Oh yes, my glaze, as you can call it. Yeah.
You can make this recipe too if you follow our Ramzan series on India Food Network, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Well-fitting content.
Peak blogger content.
Peak blogger content. What is
What is
peak
that?
blogger content?
This is peak blogger content. Like, share, and subscribe.